Tool Talk. I'm Brennan. I'm here with Njp POLASKI. How you doing, Nick?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. So we were talking about Njp Exotics.
Yes.
So how long you been doing that?
Njp Exotics, the company formed back in, probably during our MPI days. It was probably in 2017 is when I came up with the name and everything like that. And I'm like, I want to do this on a bigger scale. So I'm like, I want to go from, in the past, I mean, I've been working with reptiles and animals my whole life. I started YouTube and everything like that back in 2013 in October. And at that point, wasn't under that name. It was just under some sort of like generic, like Njp's Reptiles or something like that. You know, just something basic that a young little kid would do as a teenager.
Yeah.
And then what it did was, I'm like, okay, I want to get this into something bigger because now I have a little bit more stuff under my belt of like things to learn and everything like that. So I'm like, all right, let's try to market this a little bit better. So then I came up with the name. Another classmate in my class, he helped me with the logo and everything like that.
MPI class?
Yeah, so Joe Gumby.
Oh, okay, Joe Gumby. Yeah.
Yeah, so like literally the whole front row of us, I mean, we all just, I mean, it was me, Dave Lester, Joe Gumby, and Andrew. And we basically just... Yeah, we basically just had like brainstorming ideas for everyone's companies and stuff like that, and he helped me. I mean, he was great with like After Effects and not After Effects. What's the Illustrator? So he was able to help me make the logo and everything like that from there. Awesome. So I just kind of gave him a rundown of what I needed, and he helped me from there. So after we got the branding down, I was like, all right, now I kind of want to get into this a little bit more serious. So like at the time, I was working like 3 jobs because I moved from Ohio to Michigan to go to the school. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, I kind of want to like, I knew my goal down the line long term was to start kind of getting into my own business and working off of myself. Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, to get from there to here, it's a big leap. You know, you don't want to just take that without any kind of like, I mean, there's going to be risk regardless, but like, you don't want to just take that like free falling. Yeah. You know, I mean, you want to kind of know that
have a
like,
plan, be somewhat prepared.
Exactly. Like kind of like you want you to invest in yourself, but you also don't want to make it so you can't pay your bills.
Yeah. They always say like, if you're going to do like work from home, do your own business, don't just quit your job.
Right. You want to make sure like the job that you're working is being an inconvenience to the job that you want to do. Exactly. Yeah. You know, so you want to make sure that that's coming into play, and whether it's a scheduling thing, a money thing, both. I mean, at the end of the day, it probably would be both. You want to make sure that those things are going to be things that are preventing you from channeling into what you want to do. Yeah. So that's what I kind of did, and then kind of made my jobs kind of like lean off as time went on.
Nice.
And now I'm kind of working just basically 2 jobs. So I'm basically working, and they're both that I love. So I mean, I have the flexibility with the professional job that I have working outside of the company, and then they support me in all the things. I mean, they supply me gear. They supply me a whole bunch of different things. They support my time and everything like that, where they're like, yeah, whatever you need, I mean, we'll help you out with it.
That's perfect. That's a great balance, too.
Exactly. So,
what got you into reptiles? I'm assuming it was at a young age.
Yeah. So it was, I grew up in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. So completely out there in the woods.
Rocks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So the North Coast area. But like, yeah, what we basically did was everything around me was tree and everything like that. So I would literally walk outside my door, ride my bike like 2 minutes, and then I'm right by ponds.
So you were always finding...
Oh, I was by everything. Okay. You know? I always tell the story that like I was walking my dog at the time. She was like a mutt mix. She was really small. And we were walking down a river bend and walking over these rocks. And she walks over one rock and it moves. And it was actually a snapping turtle. But she didn't get bit or anything like that. Yeah. Excuse me, but like she just walked right over the thing, and I'm just like, oh well, that could have been bad. So, but yeah, I mean, catching snakes. I mean, we would catch frogs. I mean, we would catch snakes, rat snakes, garter snakes, anything like that, just out there. You know, I mean, I would climb trees, literally trying to get these animals, and like sometimes I've fallen out of a lot of trees. Never broken a bone, but I've fallen out of a lot of trees. I'm surprised I still don't have a scar on my pinky from it, but like I was trying to get this rat snake about 2 branches up from me. I climbed this tree. I'm going a little bit further, and then I start hearing it snap. I'm like, oh crap. So like my instinct is to grab up just to kind of hold on, but like that branch was even smaller. So the branch behind me falls, thorn bush right beneath me, slices open my thumb. Ooh. I just fall in the thorn bush. Wind gets knocked out of me, but I'm like, if I move, this is just all gonna hurt. Ooh, so goodness, yeah. It's just kind of like staring up at the tree for a little bit, seeing the snake that I was trying to get, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here for a bit.
Just looking at you, just like
exactly. Yeah.
I remember those.
Not today.
As a kid, those picker bushes being deadly.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, these are like thick thorns too.
One of my earliest memories is falling. I think I was like probably 4 years old. falling into a pickle bush,
Yeah.
just like ass first, you know?
Right.
Oh my goodness, it's very painful. Like, why do plants? I mean, I understand why plants have that, so you don't sit on them.
Sure.
But like, I wasn't gonna sit on them.
Right.
You know, I just
it was
fell.
never my intention.
Yeah, that wasn't my. I wasn't gonna sit on any of the plants. I just happened to fall.
Like, I'm well aware of the pain you provide, but yeah.
Yeah. What
Don't
was
inflict.
what was the first? Well, did you catch your first pet, or did you buy your first pet?
So, the way that I remember, I think it was caught.
Okay.
So, like, I know that it was around, like, it was at a birthday party when I was really, really young.
Oh, so you took your own present.
Basically, from this other kid's thing. Well, okay, so here's how it went. So, like, the birthday boy, I mean, again, we were all from, like, the country-ish side of suburbs. And so he had a whole bunch of woods by him, a creek,
Yeah.
everything like that. It was about 8 of us at his party. I mean, we probably were in, like, kindergarten or something like that.
Okay.
So it's relatively young, preschool, kindergarten, whatever that time. And we were down there, we're walking in his woods. All of a sudden, we see 2 garter snakes. I think he kept the one, and then I kept the other. And I know I just found the picture, ironically enough, last time I saw my grandparents, actually. We were just going through pictures on his iPad because he just takes a crap ton of photos, and somehow they all wound up on his iPad. He did that at some point. And then I'm seeing him. I'm like, wait a minute. I think that's my first snake. So it's me, my sister, and my cousin. I have to find that picture. I'll have to post that sometime of all of us just staring into this tank. And I can see the garter snake just like very blurry in the photo and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. Because literally that was my first pet.
Yeah. I'm picturing right now this lovely snake couple.
Yeah, right.
That's been split up.
That's literally been split up.
And they're just like, I'm just picturing like them brooding at night, just like, I'll have my revenge and I'll be reunited with my love.
Tomorrow's our wedding. Lovers that couldn't be, and now we're accepted and we're going to get married.
They're plotting their escape. One day we'll be together, my love. It's like a Django Unchained, but
exactly.
for snakes.
The day finally came, and we came around, and we trekked along and took them. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of, literally, the sacrifice of that was kind of like a gateway to me.
Yeah.
And along with that was, I wouldn't say that's the only thing. Before that, anything like on Animal Planet at the time, you had an abundance.
Steve Irwin, of course.
Exactly. Him, Jeff Corwin, Attenborough. There was a whole bunch of stuff. Jack Hanna.
Do you hate stingrays now? Are you
No.
Is that, of all the animals, like I think that would be acceptable if we let them go extinct.
Absolutely. Yeah, but no. I wouldn't say that I hate them.
Turn our heads to the stingray.
Right. Because even I would feel like even the family accepts it and everything like that, and they would have a respect for it. At the end of the day, you know what you're signing up for.
True.
It's kind of one of those things where
it's just like I think if an alligator had done it or crocodile done
sure.
it would have been like.
It was very unforeseen.
Understood.
You would have expected when he's free handling all these venomous snakes or all the crocodiles and stuff like that, you would have figured
it's like not the smallest thing obviously because that's a pretty big stinger on the stingray, but it's just like something you wouldn't even think would be. It's just I remember when it happened, it just blew my mind.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It
was just it left everyone's shell shocked, and it's just literally one of those things where when you're working with animals, and I think it can go into any kind of field like. That's something that that you could be in the presence of death. It's one of those things that you have to show a lot of respect for and be on your A game. I was just speaking to a guy that he doesn't free handle, but he works with venomous. Yeah. So he's a photographer. So not only does he work with his own collection of venomous species, but he's working with other people's too. And having that awareness kind of gives him an edge as a photographer. But no matter what, you got to be on it. To be working with those kind of animals. So
how often is it you come across? Do reptiles usually travel or move in groups, or are they usually solo by themselves?
More so, you're going to see them solitary.
Okay.
Sometimes you'll see some come into you'll see maybe a grouping of them, if they have a colony somewhere.
Yeah.
But relatively, a lot of animals that are reptiles, they'll kind of stay into a smaller solo.
Because I was taking pictures of snakes. I'd be paranoid if I'm taking the picture of this one.
Oh yeah.
I got my face in the camera. What's over here?
I think it's more so around breeding seasons and stuff like that. So my grandfather, he used to tell me when he was walking home from school, it would rain, and it was during a rainy season in the spring and stuff like that. He would see someone's yard. It looked like it was moving through the yard, it looked like it was just an ocean wave or something like that because it was all garter snakes. They were just slithering around each other because what they do is they'll all just kind of move around on each other. And it's just basically just a whole sea of garter snakes.
That's
and you're talking
like a snake orgy.
Basically.
Could you? I couldn't imagine moving around put my chest on the ground and
yeah, right.
trying to crawl. I guess.
Contemplating being a snake.
I'm thinking about it right now. I'm just like thinking, how would that be? You know,
getting the mindset.
It feels like a lot of work. Honestly, it feels like a shoulder workout. You know,
unhinge your jaw. And shit.
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah.
That's what's crazy. Sometimes you'll see like. Sometimes I don't think they're alive still in the videos, but like you'll see like a snake that's just like swallowed like, sometimes like, yeah, it's like a cow, like a deer sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know.
That thing's good for like 2 months.
So like, I mean, and obviously it's like, it's exactly like it's almost cartoonish, like where it's like, it's the snake and then deer
big
shape.
Thing. Yeah.
The rest of the snake.
Yeah, I wonder how they move. Do they
move? How does that? I mean,
do they sit there for a couple of days?
Relatively, yeah. Normally they will sit there. So normally you're going to see them when a snake eats or anything like that, or any sort of exertion of that. They want to sit as still as possible in an area where normally they will be able to bask. They will be able to like thermoregulate and everything like that. Get some heat so they can help digest, because that's how they will do their digestive and stuff like that. So was with the heat.
What when they're doing that, when they're digesting, is it are they vulnerable in that state? Is that
I mean, you're not necessarily able to move. I mean, especially like you were saying, like how to move like with something that big in you. I mean, you ain't going fast. You know. I mean, you're weighing yourself down. So, I mean, it's one of those things where you're going to be immobile for, I mean, if you're eating something relatively big, probably for a very long time. But
how does the organs work? Is it obviously they got no setup like
it's all latex.
It's obviously not like what we have.
Yeah.
Is it just like for the snake? Is it just like it's just a tube? I'm picturing. Yeah. It's like a throat and a stomach.
So yeah, I mean, your organs are basically like kind of caving on the sides. I would say like probably on the first 2/3 of the body is where you're going to find a lot of like the essential organs and everything like that, and then digestive stuff down the track and everything like that until it comes out the tail end. But yeah, so that's how that would essentially work.
Okay. How many reptiles, or how many? I guess
someone's gunning it.
How many?
They heard snakes and they left.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Sounds like Frank's.
Oh, how many? How many reptiles do you currently have?
I currently have about 35, and then I have like 40 plus on the way.
Oh, wow.
Because it's breeding season.
Oh, breeding season.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to have a female will normally lay about, for the ball pythons at least that I have, female will normally lay about 4 to 8 clutches, or 4 to 8 eggs in a clutch. Okay. So that's what is normally going to be hatching out.
Okay. Now, do you I guess you sell these, or you? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I meant was like.
That's what the Njp
exactly.
Exotics.
So when I knew that I wanted to market on a bigger scale, like I was selling for a couple of seasons prior, but it wasn't. I mean, it was literally just like off of Facebook.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, no one knew who I was. No one knew like to the capacity. My YouTube literally was getting like 20 views max for like a year. You know. So I mean, it wasn't. Yeah. Exactly. It's a tried and true struggle, but Yeah, so literally I was just going off of like Facebook and stuff like that. Still made relatively well money off of it, and I mean, got some happy people with some happy snakes, but the it just wasn't at a capacity where I was like, I'm about to start school again, not going to work out really well. So sold all those, held off on the breeding, basically just kind of shelved it, but kept all the animals. Yeah. So I mean, I was just kind of, which was fine, because at the end of the day, even though I love the breeding portion of it and everything like that, I'm not. Any of that money basically just went back into the hobby. I wasn't like spending it on like Gucci, or anything like that. You know, I mean, I don't necessarily live like a materialistic life. Yeah. So anything like that just gets invested into anything.
Putting it right back into your passion.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. What? So wait, now when you moved up from Ohio, how many creatures did you travel with?
A lot. So I mean, it was still a zoo. So at the time, I had a rabbit. What else did I have? I had fish. That was probably the most painful thing to travel with.
Yeah,
was a fish.
That would be.
Yeah, but I mean, luckily at the time I worked at a pet store, so I just got all these like fish bags, just kind of bagged them all up. So I mean, it worked out. I mean, the jobs that I worked.
When you put them in a bag, what do you put the bags in? Do you put them in a box?
So
I'm just picturing like the car, like bags. All over
exactly. Picture like a bunch of balloons just in a bag, just like so they can't move at one another and everything. Pulled over. So
exactly. Two bags on each other, two fish like face to face.
Yeah. So just a big shipping box full of bags of fish, and then just all the snakes, and then the snakes were literally in pillowcases, and I, as a reference, brought a pillowcase, and I brought a friend with it.
Ooh.
So you guys could see.
Let's see
who we got. But yeah, I mean, this is basically how you travel with them. So I mean, it makes things super easy.
Yeah,
and
definitely
not stressful for them, because
anything you can throw in a pillowcase.
Super. Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
My goodness, that's beautiful.
This is one of my ball pythons. This is one of the males right here.
A male?
Yeah, so literally this is why they call them ball pythons.
Is this mic on?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Frank,
so this is why
come and join us.
This is why they call them ball pythons, because they essentially will just ball up like that. He's woken up. I mean, we definitely moved him, but like, yeah, I mean, he's woken up. I mean, he's just chilling right now. And this is what ball pythons come in a whole bunch of different colorations. So like tens of thousands easily. And this one is a recessive mutation called pied. So what that does is it's a recessive trait where you're going to see the white pigment here and then just like different splotches of patterning. You'll never see two pieds look alike. It's like a snowflake. Some you'll get where people are breeding for like in the patterning, you'll get like instead of these markings or these markings right here the camera can see, you will get smiley faces that literally look like a smiley face on them. Or like a jack-o'-lantern and stuff like that. So people literally breed for those kind of traits.
That's cool.
So
what type of colors, I guess?
Literally, I mean, you can get them from like purples. I mean, yeah, now he's popping his head out.
Hey, little buddy.
Right there. But
does this guy have a name?
This guy's name's Cookie.
Cookie.
But yeah, literally, you'll get any flavor of snake you could probably get. I mean, and there's so many morphs that have still been untouched, and like we're trying to see like what we can get reddest of red or anything like that. You can get the color.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my goodness, that is.
And I think that's what makes these guys so popular in the pet trade. Is one, they're so docile that anyone can literally just chill around these things and not be afraid. And two, like they come in so many like colors that people are attracted to them. So that's another thing that goes along with it.
Yeah, touch it.
Frank, meet Nick.
You can touch it, absolutely. Just right here.
Nick, this is Frank. Frank, this is Nick.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Oh, this is
Great time to meet, right?
Frank is here, everybody.
Snake.
Frank looks so petrified for a minute.
But it's all a muscle, so it's gonna move.
I like that it's white.
Oh wow!
And, like, I like the way it looks.
He looks, yeah,
exactly.
He looks,
so like you're talking about like the anatomy of the whole thing. The whole thing is a muscle.
Really?
So like that's how you're seeing it flex and move.
That is awesome.
And that's how they move in general.
Okay.
Your personal like.
Yeah. So I breed reptiles and stuff like that. So that's what this guy
I'm
would
late
be.
to the show. I apologize.
Exactly. No, you're good.
My goodness. So this is, you said this is ball python.
Correct.
How many types of, I guess, pythons are there? I mean,
A lot. I would say, yeah. I mean, there's a lot, and then you kind of get into like subspecies of a species and everything like that. And I would say, yeah, there's going to be a lot of different species of python.
How many would you say?
Different species of snake.
How many? Well, I guess how many snake? I mean, I guess that. How is there like a large amount of snakes that are you can't even, I guess, have as pets versus ones you can have as pets, or?
That's the tricky thing that, unfortunately, in the past couple months, we've been facing a lot of reptile prejudice. I mean, I think that's just kind of what it's kind of dwindling down to. So for years, I mean, on end, especially with Florida and everything like that, like there's been a whole bunch of bans going on.
Okay.
So everyone's like trying to ban like bigger snakes, like you got rock pythons, Burmese pythons, reticulated pythons. A lot of people have been trying to ban the bigger snakes because of misinformation, past press, anything like that, bad press, any sort of thing like that. And then people are like, well, if those are going to get banned, let's kind of throw other things into the mix to just kind of make, because it's all for money.
While we have your ear.
Right, exactly. So they're like, well, they label reptile keepers as like, well, everyone's going to throw their pet in the wild. Everyone's going to set these things loose, and that's the reason there's invasives in the wild, which isn't entirely true. Because what happened was when the hurricanes hit early on, forget which hurricane it was offhand, but when the hurricanes hit, they wiped out certain facilities, like research facilities. Some were breeding, but like some were just research facilities, and all these Burmese pythons got loose in the wild. So that's kind of where the problem hit there. And then, but the problem is that they think that they're wiping out a whole bunch of things in the ecosystem. Where if you compare to like cats, cats are way more invasive in an ecosystem than a snake would
be.
I mean, their urine alone will kill plants.
And wildcats, or stray cats, they're all over the place.
Breeding all over the place.
Behind jets, there's always like half a dozen cats. Every year there's a new batch of kittens.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He'll just be, and he'll probably sit like that for a good while.
So the Burmese python, that's obviously you can't have those ones as pets, right?
You can. I actually own one. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
In Florida, they are cracking down more so on it, but
is that a state thing or is it a?
It's now getting into like a nation thing.
Ooh.
So it's state to state for certain laws and everything like that, but now it's kind of transitioning to like which states and even which counties are able to own like certain exotic pets and stuff like that. So it's a murky thing that a lot of things. I mean, we were treading a lot of water. Like we don't know what's going to happen down the line. But like, I mean, for all we know, this could all get nixed in 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's something that like within the community of reptiles, I mean, we all gotta keep tight and like be good with one another. Otherwise, if we're lashing out at one another and doing all these toxic things, it's not helping you.
Yeah, you end up like the Tiger King, and that,
right?
They can't
so
attack each
ironically,
other.
that wasn't even supposed to be about him.
Who was it supposed to be about?
So at the beginning, they're talking about the guy that they were talking about. They were showing like that snow leopard at the beginning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that one guy had a snow leopard. They're actually showcasing a special on Tom Crutchfield, who is a well-known reptile owner down in Florida. So they show his collection right at the beginning of Tiger King, literally in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I know him. So like he has like all these reptiles, and they're just kind of showcasing like his collection of venomous and doing all these things. Then they're like, okay, this other guy comes in and he owns this. He's like, oh, let me show you what I just got. He shows this snow leopard.
Yeah.
They're like, well, what the hell? What is this all about? They're like, this big tack trade. What is this all about?
Oh yeah, okay.
So they switched the topic
So,
completely. So they shelved the reptile topic and they went to that, which thankfully I'm glad they did, because like that kind of kept us out of like hotter waters than we already are.
Yeah,
but
considering the Tiger King, I mean, they got a lot of people saw it, but it wasn't the best press for tiger owners.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's one of those things where like exotic owners and stuff like that, it kind of puts a lot of people in jeopardy and stuff like that, because not everyone is owning things in these kind of bad lights. And also too, the way that they twist stories and stuff like that, I mean, that's just kind of how media goes.
I mean, there are plenty of people who own, non-exotic pets who shouldn't be owning pets.
Sure.
Oh
yeah. I know plenty. Yeah. I mean, working at the pet store, I mean, I've known plenty. I've turned away countless sales.
I could imagine. I could imagine you tell a lot of people they shouldn't.
Wildest thing someone's ever like brought up.
Probably the saddest thing that's ever happened was it was a day that I was off. Someone bought a whole bunch of goldfish and then they threw them out a window.
Oh my goodness!
God,
yeah. So I mean, I'm like, why?
That's
in the store.
Yeah, like they bought them from like our store. It was probably someone like new. And then like, yeah, I heard the story the next day. I'm like, why?
That's
fucked up.
That's horrible.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll have people that come in literally like, oh, my daughter's first pet. What can I get them? And then
imagine I can't even imagine like from the point of view of the goldfish. Like
I used to have.
What are the chances of that happening to you as a goldfish?
Exactly.
Like, oh, we're going home. We're getting
oh my god.
Yeah.
Bigger and better things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
thrown against the window.
in this ball of plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
So I used to have like a leopard gecko and a bearded dragon.
Yeah.
I wanted a gecko when I was
I had
in second grade.
albino
Never
corn
got one,
snake.
but wanted one. My parents were like,
Yeah.
no, we have a dog.
And that's just kind of happened too. Like with my uncle, he reached out to me. He's like, hey, we're thinking of getting our 13-year-old a turtle. What do you think? And he's like, I literally wrote him a book. I'm like, I don't think this
That's
is
a bad idea.
that because like I kind of know. I'm like, I don't think this is going to be something that you guys want.
When I
it's
was
a little bit more than you want to chew.
When I was a kid, I told my dad, I was like, I want a turtle. And he's like,
Literally, I wrote him a book, and he texts
no.
back the next day. He's like, "Wow, you wrote all that?" I'm like, "All right, we're gonna reconsider." So I'm like, "All right, get him a stuffed turtle." At the end of the day, go see the aquarium or something.
I mean, I would think that a turtle would be like no maintenance. I would think,
right?
Knowing nothing
like a little
of turtles.
baby turtle.
Yeah,
well, they
like,
get so popular, That's why turtles are the most popular in the pet trade. But like, I mean, I've worked at but like filmed at reptile sanctuaries and stuff like that, where I mean, you literally go in the back. And I mean, they have pools, like these pools just full of these turtles, like rehome turtles and everything like that. And I mean, they're not going out the door quick, So I mean, the turntable, I mean, you're getting more than you want in intakes rather than outtakes.
And live forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old do ball pythons usually live to?
So you're probably going to get like low to mid 20s.
Okay.
So that's normally what the lifespan of a lot of these species would be, is low to mid 20s.
How old is
this guy's? He's probably about 9. I would say.
What is full maturity? What age is that?
What? I'm sorry. What is his name?
Oh, Cookie.
Cookie.
Yeah, Cookie. Right. So the morph name of the ball python is a pied.
He does look like a cookie dough.
Yeah, right. But so sexual maturity for a male would be about 8 to 12 months. And then when you get to females, you normally want to breed them. You can start breeding them normally about 2 years. That's normally the safest spot that I want to breed them. People sometimes will say it's based off of size, but I'm like, I mean, at the same time, I don't think that's right. I think you need to base it off of more so the maturity of
people vary in things vary in size all the time.
Exactly.
Oh, well, I wasn't even going down that road. You dirty mind, Shane. Dirty mind.
Let's talk about Sneaky.
Yes. Very beautiful, though.
Right.
Very real.
Goodness.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of going back to like how I began. Like people would bring things like this. I mean Burmese Python, anything like that. People would bring like educational show kind of things.
Yeah.
And that stuff, like people would, I know someone would bring them like to baseball games, like Cleveland Indian games, or they would do. They would just bring that out front, and they had like a big van, and they would just kind of showcase all these different things: reptiles, hedgehogs, anything like that. And then they would also do like at 4th of July parades in our town.
Yeah.
They would also do the same thing. They have a set up there. Everyone would come around. And I think that's kind of the interactions that people need. And kind of going back to the bands.
Get them used to it.
Yeah, it's not even just owning these animals. A lot of people now, they're cracking down on, like, you can't pass state lines if you're an educator or doing all these things. You can't do traveling shows or anything like that just to show off these animals, which is poor in these responses because it just keeps shedding these things in bad lights, and you're not going to be able to know.
Yeah, you got to have people, you got to, I guess, introduce this to people in a controlled environment so they, so they know not to be afraid or...
Right. And like even the Burmese Python that I have right now, I mean, he's very small. He'll get up to about like 9, 12 feet. But like that's why I'm kind of raising him young and like hand holding him and stuff like that. Because if you don't hold and handle him, you're never going to know.
Yeah, this guy's so chill too.
I know, yeah.
Is he like...
and that's their personality. That's literally how they are.
Yeah.
How is this, obviously, is this as big as he's going to get?
Yeah. So yeah, he's literally, my males I normally keep smaller.
Okay.
If they get bigger, normally I've seen them get lazy. So I just kind of want to keep them at a smaller size, and I mean that's totally a healthy size for them. And then the females, they'll get about like 5, 6 feet, and they're like thick.
So what are some reasons, I guess, you would deter a customer someone from wanting to buy one of these? Why would you? What type? I guess what?
If you come in and you don't know a single thing,
if I'm just like,
I'm just like this. If your first thing,
them some big worms you got there.
Yeah. Like a person will come in, they'll be like, "What's this?"
What's this?
Like, no,
don't. Yeah.
I literally walked into a fish store not long ago around here. And some guy brought in a monkey. And then this other guy next to me is like, oh, I'm going to go buy a monkey. I'm like, well, you can't just do that.
That's such a tempting thing to do. To get him. I'll tell you this. I just bought myself last year an old English bulldog.
Yeah.
And he play bites, and he's a cute guy. But after just his play biting, I'm just like, I don't know how anyone would ever get something like a tiger or like something that could really attack him.
Yeah.
I'm like... or like a monkey, which doesn't.
Well, they buy
seem
things
like
cute and small.
I say this, but I would love to own a bear. I get it. Like
you say bear?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I
totally had like a cub and
Has
like.
Cookie ever
train it.
been to like any other
like
shows
I'd be okay
or
giving up
presentations?
everything.
Yeah, Cookie's one of the ones that I like tour around with and stuff
That's
like that.
cool.
So I normally sometimes will bring the females like during an off season, but since they're breeding right now, like they're full of eggs, so like they haven't moved in literally like 2 months. Because like you said, like when they have a big prey item, when they're round up of eggs, they don't want to move. So they don't want to eat. They don't want to do anything.
I would assume, is it not really safe for the eggs for them to move?
That too, yeah. Because I mean, you could be egg bound and stuff like that too, and that could cause surgery and everything like that, or even death. I mean, it could cause casualty to the animal.
Oh, he's getting a little more comfortable now.
I know,
It's
right?
coming for you, Frank.
But yeah, so that would be kind of the rundown. Like besides, like if they come in and say, "What is this?" I would say, I always tell them like, though you want to come in and do this, if you don't have a single thing set up, if you don't have the setup ready or anything like that, I think that's the best thing to do is first buy the stuff, get it set up, talk it over, anything like that, and then come back the next day. Or I would just tell them my schedule. I'm like, I'm here on these certain days. Come here on these days, and I will help you to completion. I mean, I've even gone to customers' houses, and I've like helped them get things set up. So,
where's a good place for someone if they're interested in getting one of these? What's the best way to go about, I guess, getting the knowledge and learning about them? Obviously, the internet, of course, but
yeah, I was gonna say like the internet now has been a wealth of knowledge, and it's also been a wealth of non-knowledge. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's hurt some reputation, and it's also benefits some reputation. So, I guess it's kind of like it's a good way to figure out who you're getting from. But I mean, there's also Reptile Shows, which is kind of like a trade show for reptiles, literally. I mean, people rent out convention centers and everything like that, literally for these types of things.
Are those, do most states have reptile conventions?
Yeah, like we have one. Taylor has a big reptile show down in their convention center. There's a big one in Chicago area in Tinley Park, so that's the one that I normally go to when things are good and aroused. And let's see. Yeah, so I mean, they're all over the place though. One's in Cleveland, everything.
Just checking it out.
I know, right? He's like, what am I on? Am I on the platform? What's going on here?
Don't jump.
Yeah, right.
Don't do it. It's not the way.
You have the high ground.
It's over, Anakin. All right. Well, so we're actually running out of time, though. Where can people find, I guess, follow you on Instagram and follow you on YouTube?
So I would say you can follow me on my Instagrams, both Njp Exotics, and there's also a link on the other one, too, for Nick POLASKI as well, too. That's for all my photography stuff. And then as well, too, you could also follow me on my YouTube channel, which is going to be Njp Exotics.
He's stretching out now.
You could even look me up through Nick POLASKI as well, too. Either one of those that will pop up for Njp Exotics. That's where a lot of these things are. And I'm even doing my own podcast, too, called Put to Scale, which is going to be on there as well, too.
Awesome.
Which will be great stuff.
Look at you. You're just making this your own.
Right?
Oh, that is so cool.
Just moving all around.
Are they good with, I guess, all kids and other animals?
Yeah. So, like, I will literally bring these around for kids and everything like that. Like, Cookie especially, he'll come out. He's perfect size for a kid to hold.
Yeah.
You know, if comparison to, like, one of my bigger females or anything like that. So... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'll
chill on the couch with my boa.
For some people, like working them up to something like that. I mean, that would be great to bring, and that's kind of why I got a Burmese Python too, was to showcase on YouTube as well as like showcase in person and everything like that. I think that's one of the top things to do. So having one of those it's one of the things that I wanted to branch into. Not only just like the animal side of things, like eventually documentary work and everything like that. Even when we were like in school, like I had a thesis film through there that we made like a short version for the school, and then like I've been sitting on that for years, and I've kind of been tweaking it a little bit, but like I'm eventually kind of like how we were talking about at the beginning, like getting a step ladder to what we want to do and everything like that. Down the line, like I'm trying to start up now that COVID's kind of weaning down a little bit, and I kind of have a little bit more ability to travel, trying to get a production company going for like doc work and photography work.
That'd be
and
awesome.
Stuff like that. So
that'd be really cool.
That should be starting hopefully soon too, as long as
he does have a little face on him right there.
Oh yeah.
Adorable. Well, thank you so much for coming on and for
thank
bringing
so
Cookie.
Much.
Cookie,
anytime I'll come.
We definitely got to do this again.
Absolutely.
You know, always love to learn more about these little guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Just
anytime.
My sister's completely petrified of these. I'm not even going to send her a picture. Well, I might just mess with her, but she's completely.
She may like the coloration. You know, that's what attracts people's first curiosity.
That's
like,
the thing.
Normally, I will see people that'll come in and they'll be like, "I don't think I'll hold that. There's no way." Like a parent or something like that. By the end of it, they touch it. You know, or they're asking a question or something like that. And that, to me, is a win. I mean,
definitely.
Even if you don't hold anything or anything like that, that's a win if you just kind of do your
own thing. If they can go from, I don't want to look at that thing, to, fine, I'll put my hand on it.
Right, exactly. That's how that goes.
That's the next step.
We need cookie updates.
Yeah, we need cookie updates especially.
Now, does Cookie have an Instagram?
No, he doesn't have an Instagram, no.
Follow Cookie
He's
at...
not like one of those dog Instagrams or whatever people do. You know, follow my bunny around kind of ordeal. This is my bunny's adventures.
Now, has Cookie ever, like, bit you?
Cookie personally hasn't. It's kind of the feeling, though, that a ball python, because, I mean, they don't have the big head. They don't have big teeth.
You.
It's kind of like Velcro. Yeah. So, like, if you rub Velcro on you, I mean, that's kind of what you'll feel. It's like if I flicked you, you feel that, and then you draw a little bit of blood. Their teeth are nothing. Yeah. I've been bit probably about hundreds of times. And that's normally during, like, once the babies hatch.
Right.
And once they, like, absorb all the yolk and everything like that. Like, when they start getting hungry, like, a couple weeks in, they start snapping. Yeah. And I mean, it's just kind of like, one, they don't know who the heck you are.
Yeah,
I mean, this is the first. You're a giant to them, you know. So they're just looking up at this big, ginormous meat flesh thing, and they're like, "What the hell is this?"
You're not going to make me eat an apple.
They're snapping at you for that. They're snapping at you because they're hungry.
Yeah.
And it's never normally an aggressive thing.
Really shoot. Like no beef.
But the way that he's flicking his tongue and stuff like that, really slow that you're seeing it. Yeah. That's just I'm curious. I'm not going to be doing anything. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. He's totally fine. He's not going to hurt you. They normally will move their head for protection, and then they'll eventually like ball it up. So he's totally fine. But yeah, I mean, the way that they smell and get scent and everything like that, that's through a Jacobson's organ, which that's why they scent the air with their tongue and everything like that.
Oh, it's on the tongue?
It's inside their mouth.
Okay.
So it's called the Jacobson's organ inside there. But like when they scent the air with their tongue, that's how they bring in the scents and everything like that.
Interesting. Okay. So they don't have like a nose.
No, not necessarily. The little spots that you're seeing on the side of their face, that's not a nose. That is I mean, they still have a nose for, like, breathing. Mm-hmm. But, like, to scent things, that's how they do it. But, like, on the side of the mouth, you can kind of see, like, pits. Yeah. Those are heat-sensing pits. So they're not necessarily best in vision. But what they do is when they see a prey item and it's like warm, they'll see that and they sense that, and that's when they go for it.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Do you have anything to feed them with?
Nothing right now. Unless if you pull a rat from your pocket. But.
It just so happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some people will do that, you know.
I'm glad you asked.
Let me go find one real quick.
yeah, exactly. Check the traps.
You know, put them in the freezer for a couple minutes.
Exactly.
Very awesome. Do they have good vision?
Not really. So kind of goes back to like those heat pits. They will sense more so through the pits, and then they still have vision, but it's not like the strongest.
Yeah,
I would say. And
is it more of like a colorblind?
Yeah, they don't see color.
Okay,
to my knowledge, at least. I don't know the studies on that actually. But I don't know. I think maybe.
How would you even find out if it sees color? You know, like you can't ask it.
I know.
Like, I guess
what is
it's
this
amazing what people can figure out. I think it's just like
it's like something in the pupil.
Like yeah, exactly.
It's
something to do with those kind of things where people have done tests. But yeah, so like my whole documentary that I did in school was basically on fears. It was literally called Fear Not. But we did snakes, we did spiders, we did pit bulls.
Spiders? Hell no.
Yeah. We went to MSU and like they have like a whole entomology lab. We talked to a specialist there, did some stuff there, and I mean it came out really well. I shelved it because I knew that it had potential, and I knew we all worked really hard on it. And I'm like, I want to do this thing justice, but like I knew at the time I wasn't at capacity. Even with my YouTube stuff at the time, like before I moved, I was literally like probably the size of this poster right here. I was literally that was my frame. I'm like, I can't move this way, I can't look this way because everything around me looks like garbage. And I even had a comment once say like, are you shooting this in a college dorm? And I'm like, oh, this is funny. So I'm like, I gotta make this look more professional. So any video ideas and stuff like that, I was like, all right, I have to wait till I move. So now I have like this full-fledged room, just literally a reptile room, just for all the animals and production stuff and everything like that. So we're able to punch out not only more content, but like quality content, stuff that I want to do.
Yeah, I was taking a look at some of your YouTube channel. I liked it. I thought it was a good quality. Yeah, you know, and that was that was a cool reptile room. You had the all the different.
So would you say your favorite species are snakes?
I would say I have a sweet spot for snakes.
Would you say that would you say like snakes more than humans?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, they're not going to argue you to death on pointless things.
So you would think that how do you subscribe to the theory about reptilian overlords, and do you think that they're benevolent?
They're watching us right now. They're tuning in.
This is why this is their favorite episode.
Exactly right. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like all the views we get are from the people the 20 reptiles who run the world.
They're all tuning in. They're waiting for this one. This is the.
So how many reptiles do you own personally?
I own about 35 right now.
Wow.
And then I'm waiting for the eggs to lay, which should be any week now, but I'm hoping
Are they all snakes?
Yeah, they're all ball pythons like these guys. Nice. I'm hoping it's not in a couple weeks because I'm actually going out west to do some dock work for like whales and stuff like that. So hoping it's not when I'm gone that they lay the eggs so I can put them in the incubator. But they should be laying any literal day now. I have to check when I get home, but I'll have probably about 40 plus babies.
Do you keep them all separate? Mm-hmm. Are they allowed to?
Yeah. So during breeding season, I literally start breeding season on Thanksgiving Day or Thanksgiving week, and then it's still going on right now. So like I'll do it in sections. I'll do first half of females, probably about Thanksgiving to probably early January. I'll start breeding them, and then from the next round, I'll start breeding from February to probably June. So, and then I'll have those babies probably middle of early fall.
Do snakes play?
Do they play?
Yeah.
Does he do any tricks?
No.
No, I don't mean like
stand-up's pretty good.
I don't mean like
tongue out. Good job.
I don't mean like trick. I mean like do they like with each other, or are they like a playful species? I guess.
Not necessarily. I mean, literally, like the most action you're gonna get is when they lock up for sex. They'll literally look like that. That's literally the act right there. Right. So literally, they just twist their tails together.
Oh, so when they say you and me, they mean
exactly.
Like two snakes. We're like two snakes.
And they could stay like that for hours. They could stay like that for days. So I'll literally leave the male in. I'll start on Tuesday. I'll take the male out on Friday. So,
wow, what a week, buddy!
Yeah. then they get to eat, and then get the rest of the weekend off, and then back in.
They get to eat, have a smoke, and then go back in.
Back in for more. That's exactly how it goes. And then I'll pair like multiple males to certain females and then kind of move on from there, which is nice too. So.
Okay.
Now, did you breed him?
This year, no. There's another one that I have that's very similar to him. I think you had him on the screen earlier. He was in I forget what candy that was, candy corn. But yeah, he was one of him. That's who I bred. Oh, maybe it wasn't him. There was another one where I did of him. It was like purple and red. I don't know if you had it or not. Yeah, but yeah, literally that's the one that looks very much similar to this guy, and I've had him breeding to a lot of females, just because of the genes that he had inside him.
It's psych, I'm coming back.
Yeah,
he's like just turning.
Oh, absolutely. But no, it's a good time.
I could just watch this guy all day, honestly.
I think that's what makes it fun is you're going through a seasonal thing. So like you have the breeding season, and then like I do like all the educational stuff. Then you have babies, and then you do all the baby work and everything like that.
How many when you breed them? How many do you end up keeping any of them, or do you try
probably
to sell them
this year? Hopefully, I mean, don't want to count the chickens before they hatch, but like hopefully I'll have about 4 to 8 babies that I'm going to keep back.
Okay.
So we'll see from there. I mean,
how old is the oldest one you bred that you got from breeding? That you still own?
Like the female that I have, I mean, she's probably around his age too. I mean, I bought all these around the same time. So like, it was probably my junior year of high school. Yeah, it was my junior year of high school. I was doing football at the time. I was just starting it out. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll do football just because I had some friends in it. And then I'm like, you know what? Why am I doing this? I'm not going to do anything with it. So I literally went to all the practices and everything like that from January up to like the end of the summer. And I'm like, you know what? I told the coach, I'm like, I'm not doing this. And he's like, I don't get it. You've been to all the practices. Why are you doing this? I'm like, you're never going to hear this again, but I'm going to get into breeding snakes. So I'm like, I didn't get a job.
That sounds exactly like what I said, except without the breeding snakes part.
Yeah, right.
I did the practices. I was like, I'm done with this. And
yeah.
That would have been a much better line.
Yeah. So literally, yeah, like at the time, didn't have a car. All the money that I had saved for a car, I mean, I had no interest in driving. I didn't go anywhere. You know? I mean, at the time, I was playing a whole bunch of video games, doing this. I had reptiles. I mean, I had no time for any of that. And then, yeah, so all the money that I had, I invested into all these animals. And I think that's what you want to start with is high quality, good animals that you know are coming from good people and stuff like that. So that's what I did, and met some great people along the way in doing so. I'm happy that I did that route, and I mean, it's only benefited me. So it's a long haul. Like I said,
the NFL draft
was 2013.
The NFL draft was this weekend, so you might have missed your chance.
Exactly.
That could have been your route this weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the draft.
Especially knowing that, I had a friend that he played at Northwestern. He wasn't in the draft, but I mean, just seeing like some of his teammates and stuff
that's
like that,
awesome.
It was pretty cool to see. I mean, even one got drafted to Cleveland, so he was pretty pumped about that.
Even better. Sweet.
Pretty exciting stuff.
Well, that about does us for time, though.
Yeah,
thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for having Cookie. We're going to definitely do this again.
Absolutely.
I'm Brennan with Booth Talk. I'll see you next time.
You know the timer's not going about. Take one just for shits and giggles.
Oh, my God.
All right. This doesn't count. This does not count.
It doesn't count.
This one's for him.
Don't do it.
This one's just for him.
Just keep going.
Just wait.